What's up, good people? Tonight, I want to begin a conversation about 50-50 relationships. And I mean, we see it on social media, we hear it all the time. Um, but I want to talk about it in a way that I think will be beneficial. Um, what I want to call it is beyond 50-50. All right. And I want to start by let me establish who this is for. Let me be clear about that. Those of you that follow me know that I talk about dating. And I talk about dating with the intention of getting married. All right. That's the reason I talk about dating. That is the intention for dating as I see it and as I talk about it for the express purpose of marriage. All right. Let me be clear on that. And let me also say that I am not for him. I'm not for the guys. I'm not for her. I'm not for the women. I am for not him, not her. I am for them. All right. I'm for them. I'm for team family. So, not him, not her. I am for them and the family that they build together and the legacy that they leave behind. And let me say, when I say family, I don't mean necessarily, because I don't want anybody to feel alienated. I'm not talking about people. Sometimes people come together later in life, like I will be doing, and they don't have kids. There are no kids produced from that union. So when I say family, I'm talking about the union, the nucleus, the union of the man and the woman. All right. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm for them. And I have to make that distinction because often when you're having these conversations and you're a guy, um, people who don't know me that may see what I'm talking about, hear what I'm talking about, and automatically assume, oh, he's for the guys. And then some of the guys, if I'm saying something favorable, seemingly favorable for women, then I'm a simp. I'm not for either side. I'm for the union. So I am for them. So let me be clear about that. All right. So if you're there with me and you date for the purpose of marriage, then that's who I'm talking to. I'm cool with anybody else that listens, uh, but understand that is my worldview. That's where I'm coming from, and that's the information will be the lens that I'll be speaking from will be that lens. All right. So why 50-50 is the wrong question? It's the wrong question. This is not a man versus woman issue. It's a marriage issue because what are we talking about? We're talking about how a man and woman will function in a marriage. So it's not a him versus her because in a marital covenant, in a marital union, it's not him and her, it's them. Like I said, I'm for it's them having become one or working to become one. So it's not him and her. And marriage is not a transactional relationship. And I think that's another huge problem that we have in these conversations. It's all transactional. It's transactional. I mean, think about it. We're putting all our cards on the table. And don't get me wrong, hear what I'm saying clearly. I'm not saying that you should not be looking at the men and women dating, should not be evaluating each other. Of course you should. You'd be foolish not to. That's how you determine who a person is. But the conversations that we're having around this 50-50 conversation is transactional. it's superficial. We're not talking about who a person is. It's more about what they have and what they're willing to give. What can I extract from this relationship? What can you bring to show me that you're worthy of being in a relationship with me? Both sides are saying crazy things to each other, and it's transactional. There's no talk about character, who this person is, how will I function in this person? I mean, in a relationship with this person. It's not talking about other beneficial characteristics. It's not even talking about the stuff you think about. It's not even talking about the stuff, the vows that people make, the for better or worse, in sickness and health, rich or poor. It's not talking about any of that stuff. It's all transactional stuff. And if you look at the vows aren't transactional. The vows are talking about what each person is going to give to that relationship. What each person is, the sacrifices that each person is willing to make, regardless of the circumstances. That's not the conversation that we're having. We're having a conversation about how much money you got. I got X amount. Do you at least have that amount? We're not even talking about real. Here's a real conversation when it comes to money. If somebody is saying a person has to have a certain amount of money, and you're just talking about, let's just say, for example, 6 figures, but there's no talk about the allocation of this money. Where's this money going? How did we come to a certain figure? It's just like if a person says they're looking for a car, they found a car and they need $35,859.99. They have a certain figure because that's what the car costs. When we're having a conversation about 50-50, it's just a certain dollar amount because there's a certain status attached to that. There's no talk about debt to income. There's no talk about what it costs to maintain a certain household. Do we plan on having a certain number of kids? Or even if it's people that don't have have children, but where do we plan on living? What's going to happen with this money? Vacation, money set aside for emergencies. Those aren't the conversations that's being had. Conversations that are being had are very superficial on both sides. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm poking at one side. No, there's superficial conversations on both sides. It's not beneficial to either one. But in a marital union, 50-50, sometimes it's going to be 40-60, 80-20, 20-80, favoring one person at certain times, and then it'll be favoring the other person at other times. And I hate to even use the word favor because that doesn't sound good. In a relationship, it's not about favoring one person. It's about two people that love each other, that are doing what's necessary to make sure that they're both taken care of. All right? And I'm not going to say a whole lot because this is just the beginning of the conversation, but I wanted to at least kind of establish some things in this first one. The last thing I want to say is the real question isn't who pays what, but what are we building together? What are we building? It's not who pays what are we building? Things have to be paid for, not discounting any of that. But the real question is not who pays what, but what are we building? And I'll say this before I go. I was having this conversation with my best friend that anybody knows me. I mention a lot because he's been married a long time. He and his wife have been married. It'll be 35 years this year. And I have several friends that's been married. Couples have been married over 30 years, incidentally. But one of the things I was saying to him that I find interesting, and think about it, it may you may relate to this as well. But what I find interesting is the people that I see having these conversations, going back and forth and having these wars about these conversations, are those of us who aren't married. My married friends, when I talk to them, they're not talking this kind of stuff. They're not arguing about who paid what. They're not having those conversations. They're having conversations that are more meaningful. that are not superficial, and they have longevity in their marriages. And single folks, we're having conversations that when I get up in the morning and look on social media, I see the men taking shots at women. They taking shots at single mothers. The women are taking shots at. It's like we're taking shots at each other, and that's cool. I'm not here to eliminate that because I can't. There's always going to be those people. But what I'm trying to do is identify those of us who actually want to have healthy dating relationships that lead to marriage, and to have conversations, because some of the things that they're arguing about are things that we need to talk about too. But we need to talk about these things in a way that is constructive, that's beneficial to help us navigate through this dating experience. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to be able to talk about some of these sensitive subject matter, some of these sensitive subject matter in a way that's beneficial, where we gain a better understanding of each other so that we can bridge the gap instead of widening it with more meaningless wars. All right? That's all I have for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, share, and see you on the next part. All right? Everybody have a good night.